Some stories never truly end. They wait, quietly, for the right moment to begin again. Darkness fills the screen. A soft piano note plays, gentle and familiar, like a memory being uncovered. Slowly, the sound of city streets fades in, cars passing, voices echoing, the life of Los Angeles at night. Then, out of the black, a flash of light, a young Julia Roberts' radiant smile from the original Pretty Woman. Her laughter rings out, carrying warmth and innocence. The screen flickers like an old film reel. We see Edward Richard Gere in his youth standing tall in his suit, the quiet businessman whose life changed forever. Their hands meet. That red dress. That white limo. That fire escape ending that still lives in people's hearts. These moments appear for only a second each. Like snapshots of a dream that refuses to fade, a voice speaks softly over the images. Full of nostalgia but touched with longing. Over 30 years ago, one unlikely romance reminded us all that love has no rules. No boundaries, no limits. The music swells gently. Strings joining the piano. The city lights of Los Angeles shimmer like diamonds scattered across velvet. But then the screen fades back to black, leaving only the sound of the piano, softer now, almost broken. A pause, silence, then the voice returns, deeper, heavier, but time. Time changes everything. The screen brightens again, this time showing a modern Los Angeles skyline. Sleek skyscrapers, crowded freeways, and the glow of neon lights stretch across the night. The world has moved on. The people have grown older. Dreams have shifted. But in the distance, something still lingers, something unfinished. Slowly, the camera pans across a silver-haired Edward Lewis. He stands by a window, overlooking the city he once ruled, his reflection caught in the glass. His eyes, still sharp but softened by years, carry the weight of choices made and regrets unspoken. Cut to Vivian. Julia Roberts, older but glowing with the same spirit. She's not in silk gowns now, but in everyday clothes, standing in front of a boutique shop window. She smiles, but behind the smile is a story untold, a life that's seen both joy and heartbreak. Her reflection lingers in the glass, just as Edward's did. The piano fades, replaced by a haunting orchestral hum. The voice speaks once more. What once seemed like a fairy tale was only the beginning. On screen, a title card slowly appears in golden letters. Pretty Woman 2, a second chance. The music swells, then cuts to silence as the screen goes black. Asterisk, the sound of rain falling against glass. The city is alive, but quieter now, muted by the storm. Headlights reflect off wet pavement. The screen fades in, a shot of Edward stepping out of a black car, umbrella in hand. He moves slower than he once did, his polished shoes tapping softly against the street. He is older now, but there is still presence in the way he carries himself. His life has been filled with success, wealth, and influence, but his eyes tell another story, a man who has gained everything, yet lost the one thing that mattered most. A low voice whispers over the scene. He built empires. He conquered boardrooms. But some victories are empty, without someone to share them with. The music begins to build, strings rising in tension, soft but uneasy. Cut to Vivian. The shot opens on her laughter, gentle, warm, but not quite the same as before. She is standing in a modest boutique, speaking with a younger employee. She runs her fingers over a dress displayed in the window, as if remembering another time, another place. The reflection of neon lights dances across the glass, reminding her of the life-changing night she once lived in the city. Her smile fades as she looks down at her hand, empty, no ring. A quiet sigh escapes her lips, a sign of someone who has loved deeply and lost greatly. The piano returns. Slower now. Suddenly, the sound of a door chime. Vivian turns. The camera lingers on her expression as her eyes widen. The music stops for just a moment, leaving only the sound of the rain outside. In the doorway stands Edward, framed by the glow of the street behind him. He does not speak right away. He simply looks at her, the way he once did all those years ago, a sharp intake of breath. The narration breaks the silence. Sometimes fate waits until we are ready. Vivian forces a small laugh, covering her emotions. She greets him politely as though speaking to an old acquaintance. But her eyes betray her. There is recognition, there is longing, there is fear. Edward, still quiet, takes a few steps toward her. His voice, deeper with age, finally breaks through. It's been a long time. The camera cuts to her face. Her eyes soften, then harden again, as if protecting herself. She responds carefully. A lifetime. The music swells once more. Louder now, carrying the weight of emotions they cannot put into words. Quick flashes cut across the screen. Edward looking down at a framed photograph in his office, a younger version of himself with Vivian. Vivian closing the boutique alone at night, the city lights reflecting off her tear-filled eyes. Edward at a dinner table surrounded by colleagues, but his chair feels empty. Vivian walking through the streets of Los Angeles. The same streets where she once found magic. The narration returns, firmer, carrying a note of destiny. They once shared a love that defied the odds. Now, life has given them a second chance. But will they take it? Or let it slip away forever? The tension builds as scenes flash more quickly. Edward extending his hand across a table, Vivian hesitating before reaching back. Edward staring out over the city, lost in thought. Vivian standing alone on a balcony, the wind in her hair, whispering softly, "Why now?" The screen cuts to black, silence, then Edward's voice echoes in the darkness. "Because I never stopped loving you." A heartbeat sound pulses once. Loud and deep, the orchestral score rises again, grander this time, as the title card burns across the screen once more. Pretty Woman 2, A Second Chance. Final line of narration closes the section with a hint of both hope and fear. When the past returns, love must choose between who they were and who they've become. The screen fades, leaving only the sound of rain and a single piano note lingering in the silence. Asterisk. The screen opens with the sound of footsteps on marble floors. Edward walks down a long corridor, his figure framed by glass walls and city lights outside. He pauses at the end, staring at his reflection again, older, wiser, but still haunted. The music begins quietly, a gentle violin carrying a note of longing. Cut to Vivian. She stands in front of a mirror in her boutique, adjusting a dress on a mannequin. For a moment, she looks at her own reflection, and in the glass, she sees herself younger, the woman in the red gown from years ago. She blinks, and the vision disappears. Her smile falters. The narrator's voice breaks through. Once, they believed love could conquer anything. But time has tested them both. The violin swells, joined now by piano. Scenes flicker quickly across the screen. Edward and Vivian walking together through a crowded street, people rushing past them, the world moving faster than their hearts can catch. A quiet dinner in a dimly lit restaurant, their hands almost touching across the table but pulling back too soon. Vivian watching Edward leave in a car, the reflection of his taillights in her eyes. The narrator continues, softer this time. They've built lives apart, faced dreams won and dreams lost. But the fire between them has never truly gone out. The music shifts suddenly, brighter now, lifting with hope. A montage begins, Edward and Vivian laughing on a park bench, sunlight spilling across their faces, the laughter sounding freer than it has in years. Vivian walking into a ballroom, her dress flowing, and Edward turning as though seeing her for the first time all over again. A scene of them dancing, her hand resting on his shoulder. His gaze locked only on her. The pace quickens, but then shadows break through the light. Conflict emerges in flashes. Vivian standing alone in the rain, whispering, "I don't know if I can go back." Edward arguing in a boardroom, slamming his hand on the table. Vivian's voice trembling. "You left once. How do I know you won't leave again?" The score drops low, a steady heartbeat rhythm underscoring the montage. Edward's voice overlays the tension. "I made mistakes. I let you go. But not a day has passed that I haven't wished for this moment." We see Vivian looking away, holding back tears, struggling between forgiveness and fear. The narrator's voice returns, steady and strong. To love again means risking everything, hearts, dreams, the pain of the past. But some risks are worth it. The music swells into a sweeping orchestral crescendo. More quick cuts. Edward and Vivian standing on a rooftop at sunset, the city stretching out beneath them. Vivian running her hand along Edward's arm, trembling with hesitation. Edward pulling her close during a moment of fear, their silhouettes framed against the storm outside. Vivian whispering, "What if it's too late?" Silence falls. Then Edward's voice, steady and full of truth, "It's never too late." When it's real, the screen explodes with light as the orchestra soars. The montage becomes a rush of passion and emotion, a kiss, quick but filled with years of longing. Vivian spinning in laughter as Edward twirls her during a dance. Edward holding her hand tightly as though he will never let go again. A moment of pure stillness, Vivian resting her head on Edward's shoulder, both of them closing their eyes in peace. The title flashes across the screen again in bold letters. Pretty Woman 2, A Second Chance. The narrator closes the section with one final line, spoken softly, almost like a promise. When love is given a second chance, it can shine brighter than ever before. The music lingers, soft piano fading into silence, leaving only the beating of a single heart. A clock ticks, slow, heavy. Each beat echoes in the dark. The screen fades in. Edward, alone, standing on the balcony of his high-rise apartment. The night city stretches out below him, Los Angeles alive with lights, but he seems lost in silence. His hands grip the railing. His breathing is uneven. His voice, steady but cracked with emotion, overlays the scene. I had everything, and still I let you slip away. Not again. Not this time. The music begins faintly, a low, trembling cello note. Cut to Vivian, walking through the boutique at night. She turns off the lights one by one, the glow fading until only the street lamps shine through the windows. She pauses at the doorway, holding the keys tightly in her hand. Her voice overlays, soft but filled with conflict. I've built a life. A safe one, but safe isn't the same as happy. The cello deepens, joined by a pulse of drums, slow and steady like a heartbeat. Scenes begin to flicker quickly. Edward rushing out of a boardroom, leaving his colleagues stunned. Vivian staring at an old photograph she's hidden in a drawer. Edward's face beside hers, both younger, both smiling. A limousine door opening. But this time, it's not about wealth or luxury, it's about a choice. The narrator's voice cuts through. Urgent now, they've waited a lifetime for this moment. But love is never simple. And the past, never truly disappears. The drums quicken. The orchestra swells, a rush of dramatic flashes fills the screen. Edward running through the rain, his suit soaked, determination on his face. Vivian at a charity gala, standing across the room from Edward. Their eyes lock, years of longing compressed into a single glance. A hand reaching out. Another hand trembling, hesitant to meet it. The music rises higher, faster, filling the air with urgency. Conflict cuts in, shards of dialogue layered over the montage. Vivian, you don't know who I am anymore. Edward, I know enough to fight for you. Vivian, I can't go through losing you again. Edward, then, don't stay. The screen turns black for a heartbeat. Silence, then, boom. The music explodes into a sweeping orchestral climax. We see them together. Edward pulling Vivian close on the dance floor, lights spinning around them. Vivian laughing uncontrollably as Edward whispers something in her ear. The two of them holding hands on a rooftop, the sunrise breaking across the city skyline. A tender kiss, slow and powerful, the kind that speaks of years lost and years still to come. The narrator's voice returns, powerful and resolute. This spring, love returns, stronger, deeper, braver, a second chance 30 years in the making. The music surges as the golden title card slams across the screen, letters glowing against the black. Pretty Woman 2, A Second Chance 2025. But the trailer doesn't end just yet. The music softens, fading back into a gentle piano. One last scene lingers. Vivian standing at the foot of a staircase, looking up. Edward is there, just as he once was, reaching down with his hand. Their eyes meet this time, not in fear, but in trust. She smiles. Her voice closes the trailer with a whisper. Maybe some fairy tales really do get a second ending. The screen fades to black, silence, then the final echo. Big mistake, huge, but maybe the best mistake of my life. The trailer ends.